let our dreams unfurl. The rhythm is a heartbeat. It's running through our veins. We're KPHred music. We're gonna make it rain.
I'm I'm PHred, and this is the first anniversary special of KPHRED Prime Live, celebrating our first KPHRED Radio's first year of broadcasting. Today, we got long-term favorites and at least one new person showing up. So at this point, I want to bring in, assuming I can unmute them, because otherwise, if you can't unmute them, nobody hears you. I want to unmute my co-host, Barbara Wainwright, as well as our guest. Welcome, Barbara, to the
Thank you, Fred.
first anniversary episode of KPHRED Prime Live, celebrating the first year of KPHRED Radio. And dear God, you're thinking right now, I didn't think he'd hang around this long. I mean, it was just, I said hello, and the next thing I know, I'm here, and it's a year. Whoa.
It's a year, and you know what? It's been a really great year too, Fred. There's been so much progress made with technically and otherwise, and we've had the pleasure of meeting and getting to know some really amazing people in the process.
You're in Southern California, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, you can tell that rosy, sunny attitude.
And so, are you saying that you're from Chicago, Fred?
Yep.
Wow.
South side of Chicago, where you deal with blizzards and in winter and 9 billion degree heat, as a couple of our guests can attest, in the summer. That said, it took me moving to California to experience a plague, a fire, and a tornado.
Wow. A tornado in California?
Yeah. Last year there was a tornado that rolled. It was an E1 tornado, or whatever they call it, first level tornado, rolled down Grand Avenue within 300 feet of the office.
That's great. Wow.
I was sitting here in the office when it happened.
Wow,
Your
I
neighbors
never heard of
blame you for
tornado.
bringing it, Fred?
Yeah, you brought it. That's the problem.
Was that an automobile tornado?
Nope. It was a God's honest truth tornado. Because I'm on the back deck looking out the window, going, man, if I didn't know better, I'd think this was a tornado. And then yeah, we don't have tornadoes in California. The next day, Michelle says, you know what? There was a tornado right past the office. It's like, so that's what that was.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it took me coming to California to get to tornadoes, plagues, and wildfires. And the wildfires get kind of dicey there.
No earthquakes?
No, the only time there was an earthquake that I really felt was, I think, December 25th of 2017. I think I was visiting a friend who had a small mobile home because she had surgery, and all of a sudden there was this earthquake, and I'm freaking out, like, should we get out of here? And after about 5 seconds, she looked at me, she goes, no, that's just the washer kicking into the spin dry.
Oh, okay.
All right, so my question,
A little paranoid there, huh? Okay.
my question to you that we're going to ask all of our guests is, what's been the biggest surprise in your business life this past year, and how has it affected KPHRED?
Oh my gosh. Well, you want me to answer that now? And I don't know if I've had any major changes in the last year. Life has been really good for me. And I have been doing my life coach training and certification program continually for the last 20 years. So not much has changed there, Fred, but what I have really thoroughly enjoyed is coming onto this show every couple of weeks and meeting some really interesting people, but not just interesting people. The conversations that we've had have been really enlightening and, I don't know, brought a lot of awareness to different subjects and matters that, some things you wouldn't even normally think about. So the conversations have been very enriching and I've really enjoyed them.
So I just heard that you enjoyed having conversations you'd never think of having on your own.
That's correct.
Down the rabbit hole we go. All right. So I one of our guests today has to, two of our guests have to go. I got one that's really short term and the other longer term. So we're going to hit our first guest, the person who actually enabled this down the rabbit hole plan of building fulfilling actually what I've come to understand in myself was a lifelong dream, but enabling me to fulfill that dream of building this. My partner at Westvine, Ms. Rumpel, come on down, say hello, and tell us about what no one knows is Michelle's actually has two different shows that you can hear on KPHRED Radio. One of them's the current show she's started doing, but the other one is Biz Buzz Radio with Catherine Johns, former radio side chick at WLS Radio.
Yes. Yeah. I didn't realize that those super old, I mean, they're super old episodes were running, but okay.
Early morning.
Yeah, that's fine, I guess. I don't know. It would be interesting to hear some of them and see how timely or not they are at this point, right? But yeah, so hi.
All right. So Michelle, what's the name of your show?
I do it with Fred, and it's called California Pulse. So Fred gets to interview the mayor all the time, and then I interview other people from California, obviously. So so it's been fun so far. Got to talk further with a couple of people that I know and get the scoop on what they do and why they do it. So that's been cool.
Nice.
And and I think the question was, what's been the biggest surprise
in the past year that you've had business-wise?
Yeah, but then you asked, and how has it affected KPHRED? I'm not sure.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not sure about that one, but
what's the
biggest surprise would be how much using AI for certain things has been helpful to me in business. So just certain tasks that it's just been very helpful. Still got to do the work, but at least it, kind of sparks some ideas in my brain, which is great. And even just getting information that I probably wouldn't have otherwise just by doing like a Google search. So that's been, I know it's been around a little longer than a year, obviously, but just in the last year, I think is when most of us have really started to utilize it daily. So it'll be really interesting to see where that all heads. How has it affected KPHRED? I'm sure that people have used it to figure out, I know I've used it to help me get titles for shows, right? Mm-hmm. Or even write content for the station. So, at least prompting ideas, that type of thing has been really helpful. So, I think I would say AI has helped business and KPHRED as much as, you may hate to admit that, but but that's where that's at. Yeah.
Okay, so how have you used AI on KPHRED?
Yeah, like what I was saying about writing content or, helping
What
to write
about
content.
logos?
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, using AI that helped create a logo. Yeah, you're right. And then I sent the concept to an actual person, a graphic designer, to say, okay, take this concept and please make it better, right? Make it into a file that we can use. And but it was cool to get that idea. Yeah, right. That's true.
And literally, that's what that graphics what's playing on Get Me Radio right now.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
So
Yep.
I guess we could say you designed the biggest benefit to KPHRED was you designed the face of KPHRED over the past year.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that part.
Barbara, anything else?
Well, I'd say the biggest contribution is having a show called California Pulse myself. But, it's great that you created the face of KPHRED and used AI in the process. I love it. That just shows where we're at in today's world. We're progressing and using AI and benefiting from it. And, what's great about the integrity of the people on these shows is that it would all be in, I don't know, good kindness and no malintent. I'll say it that way.
Yes, exactly. Not using it for good, not for evil.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Right.
Definitely.
Christ.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that speaks to the integrity of all the show hosts on the KPHRED.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Malintent. We're gonna say hello to our next host our guest co-host, because that malintent that's gonna trigger something sooner rather than later. So one of the first rounds of people that I went and talked to as we brought the station up was our friend Mr. Animals Unplugged, known to the normal world as Greg Markelz. Come on down, Greg. Say hello.
Good morning, afternoon, whatever time it is where you are, everybody. And, your question, some of you know this, that when I do Animals Unplugged, we're trying to save animals and we're interviewing and having conversations with some really important people who are helping animals. But my alter ego through this whole thing is C&G. C&G is the name of the superhero dog with the magic guitar named Hope. And C&G comes from Chipotle and Greg. That's Chipotle, and this is Greg, C&G. So, real complicated. But your question, Michelle, I'm so glad that you went into AI, because C&G was bugging me. He said, it's the 1-year anniversary show, and you've got to go on KPHRED Prime Live, because you're never there. You're always too busy. You're always doing something. And so you got to go on there. And I said, well, C&G, I'll go on there if you give me a reason to. So he said, okay. He said, I'm so glad you showed me how to use ChatGPT. And I said, what did you do, C&G? He says, I had it write a parody song for Fred. And I said, what did you do, C&G? So, and just to tell you, Greg, and when I'm Greg, I use ChatGPT, but I don't cut and paste anything. I always put it through the filter of my own brain, think for myself, change words, change sentences, make it mine. It saves me time, but I'm not cut and pasting the bot's words. But C&G can't do that. He's a dog. He doesn't have that kind of processing power in his brain. So he asked ChatGPT to write a song to commemorate KPHRED's 1-year anniversary, and he wanted it to be a parody of the song Free Fallin' by Tom Petty.
Nice.
So if you are brave, Mr. Fred, you give me a few minutes, you can do another interview with somebody else. I'll prepare. C&G will perform Free Callin'
Wow.
Okay.
a parody to Tom Petty, and to commemorate your 1-year anniversary, make it special. He really delivered when I said, I'm not going to go on unless you give me something special, CNG. So I'll
That's
go
fine.
off for a few minutes, and when I pop back on, it means I'm ready.
Works for me. Barbara, who we want to talk to next? I'll let you call the next person out.
What a fascinating thing to do. Create look at, there's the image of the dog right there, is playing C&G. Love it. Okay. Who should we talk to next? Let's do Tess. Tess, how are you?
Ah,
I am awesome coming out of San Diego in the nice, cool weather while you guys may be hot over here. How are you?
Terrific. I'm looking. Please share with us the name of your show and all those questions that Fred asked. Like, how's it been working on KPHRED and what's been the impact and how are you?
Well, I think he said the biggest surprise. My biggest surprise this year was my grandbaby. So that was an amazing surprise.
Congratulations.
Yes, but I think just being in this community for since January, maybe a little bit before that, but I think that has been my big surprise. I didn't know that I'd find business partners. I didn't know that I'd ever find myself podcasting, ever. If you had asked me 5 years ago, podcasting, and let alone podcasting about emotions, hello, who wants to talk about emotions and the reality of them, and not the reality and the discomfort and the uncomfort and all that. Not even who talks about emotions, but that would be me, and I'm loving it, and I've been pulled out of my comfort zone of being in business for 25 years, wrapped up in numbers and absolutes, and now I'm over here talking about something that's many people don't even think is absolute. And it's really brought me in front of practitioners and healers and business partners and alignments that, oh my gosh, the reality of people changing their lives because they're addressing intuition and knowledge. So my podcast is actually Brilliant Minds and Beautiful Souls.
I love that.
I love the conversations, the collaboration, the agreements, the alignments, the people that just love to talk about those unseen things that many people don't ever want to address. It's scary, right?
Yep. Well, a lot of people, I guess, I don't know, back in the day, maybe not so much today, but I remember people feeling like they would be judged and thought that they were crazy and not be well received if you were to say that you hear voices and things like that.
So Fred, when I first showed up in this arena going, what the heck? I'm talking about numbers, business, and real estate and all these like absolutes, and oh my gosh, just stepping into my own personal alignments and why I really want to show up and use my voice has been an incredible surprise. But it's weird, and it's not so weird when people see something in you that you haven't seen yet, right? And so that's what this community has been, is people seeing something in me that I just pleasantly surprised myself.
I love it.
all right. So I have to take issue with the negative connotation that Barbara placed on those who are crazy. I've been crazy most of my life, and it's that type of bigotry that gives normal people a bad name.
That's why we're all misunderstood. A bunch of misfits talking about things that are just, real.
Right.
So, how many episodes you got now, Tess?
I just hit my 33rd, 32nd episode.
So this is what we call the Booker protocol of somebody who focuses on their show and hits 30 episodes.
That's that highly focused genius about me when you get highly focused on something, huh? It's been wonderful.
You think he's kidding. We actually call it the Booker Protocol in back office meetings.
Wow, that's really a thing.
Mhm.
Fred, I think you're kidding, but you're really calling it Booker Protocol?
Mhm.
Okay.
We've got the Pratt limit, which you surpassed, and then you push through to 30. So the vast majority of podcasts never get past 10, and it's because people don't think that it is work, even if everything else is done for you with production wise. It's still work, and a whole lot of folks don't pick that up when they go into it.
Why do you think that is?
Because it's easy to get on and talk for an hour about stuff, isn't it? And we don't want to think about the actual going out and finding guests and we don't think about what we want to talk about, so it's intriguing. How many people want to get in and drone on about what they do?
Yeah, that's the shift. That's what I love about this community is we're not really doing that. We're just being ourselves and showing up authentically.
It's talking about that passion, and if you can align a show, Fred preaches now, if you can align that show along a passion, then you become authentic, as the queen of neurodivergency can attest. But first, let's go to our friend Chipotle, or CNG, sorry.
That's right. Chipotle's crossed the Rainbow Bridge, sir.
Oh,
And I have a song about him too, but this is all about Fred today. So if you guys are familiar with the song Free Fallin' by Tom Petty. We always give credit where credit's due. So Tom Petty wrote the song. CNG just changed the tunes by going to AI and asked ChatGPT. Now, I left it exactly how it was on purpose. I could improve this a great deal, but I didn't change a single word. So some of it's a little goofy, but you're going to experience the raw AI version. So hope you're okay with this, Fred.
Go for it, my friend.
He's a good guy. Fred's on the air. Loves his broadcast and jingles too. He's a good guy. He's crazy about radio, spins tunes and podcasts too. It's a wild night running his station. There's a mic set up beside his dog. He's not that host, 'cause he's got no backup. He's that host for flying off logs, and he's free. Free calling. Yeah, he's free. Free calling. All the weird songs playing in his basement move fast through Fred's quirky playlist. All the loud sounds, they're echoing sideways, while the quiet folks just left his roost, and he's free. Free calling. Yeah, he's free. Free calling. He'll describe his plan on Sounding Global. He'll record callers, they're talking in rhyme. He'll free call live out into radio Gonna talk through that whole dang time, and he's free. Free calling. Yeah, he's free. He's free calling.
All right.
He's free calling.
I think you made Tess cry.
That is nice.
No.
That is nice. That is really nice.
So there's the magic of, I didn't spend any time writing that. That's ridiculous. Now, of course, some of the words didn't fit. Fred doesn't spin tunes. But look at how brilliant it was right off the plate. I thought it was pretty good. Like, that's one prompt, one cut and paste out of ChatGPT. And CNG can actually do parodies now because the dog can't write a song to save his life. But anyway, I'm so glad I could bring that to you
could
today,
not sing
Fred.
it though, Greg.
What's that?
ChatGPT could not sing it though.
Yeah, that's
No,
right.
you know
that's
what?
right.
I want to say this because some of you, I've been on networking groups with some of you where we've talked extensively about AI. And in my musicians group, one of the course, the singing instructor said this. The one thing, ChatGPT, or there's actually different musical, you can literally do anything you want, tell it what to do, and it'll sound just like a different band. It'll sound like a different singer. But there's something about a real human voice singing. It's so unique. And even if it can sound like your voice, the emotional inflections and the fact that every time you sing it, it's a little different. Though that's the one thing they said, don't worry about AI. Perform, sing, feel it, and it'll never be able to take that away from you. So all the musicians are worried because, like, you can do a song yourself in 2 minutes on, there's different ones. Suno is one of them. But so I took that to heart and I worked twice as hard on my singing when I heard that. Hey, if that's the one thing they can't take away. But Fred, what did you think?
Well, I still like the theme song to Pillars of Franchising best because in 40 seconds, you never ever forget that song.
That was a classic, and the guys we made that with had the most fun ever making that. They never had any more fun than making that song. I don't know why, it was just resonating with everybody.
It had 3 words to it. And it had a good heavy metal beat. It was its own heavy metal rock classic. So, given that that's that's my height one, I love this because this one you did live. So that makes it. I just wish I was recording the video because between Michelle and Barbara dancing back and forth, that actually would have rocked the chop up and release as a short. We'll have to work something out about that later.
Well, when we take Animals Unplugged live, when that day comes, there's all kinds of stuff we'll be able to do with CNG in that vein. We'll be able to surprise our guests as they come on because I'll have time to prepare for them, and when they come on live, they'll be doing things like Michelle and Barb were. So I think that the live aspect is going to be huge for my show, at least.
Before we get to the live aspect, you're about to launch the next season with the new
season
co-host.
2. We're at least 10 episodes in this set with a new co-host, and let's face it, it's probably going to be 20 episodes because I'm going to sprinkle in some live streams along with it. But we are zeroing in on improving everything we learned from the first 10 episodes, making it better for the second 10. That's how we roll at KPHRED. We constant improvement and bringing you more interesting, more lively, more entertaining, more enlightening conversations, the whole thing. But if we don't save a few animals along the way, I'll be very disappointed. That's why we're doing it.
Hope you do.
Barbara, you want to say anything?
I enjoyed that a lot. Thank you so much, Greg, for putting that together. First of all, I mean, it takes a lot to come up with the idea and then actually make it happen and then perform it live over the live radio stream was a lot. So thank you so much for that.
Well, and thank Tom Petty and thank ChatGPT and CG as well.
And Michelle literally set up the question by commenting about AI. Wow. So what I just heard, what I just figured out is we not only have an AI face, but now we have a live AI inspired music performances. We really are an AI enhanced radio station, aren't we?
Yep.
You got it. It's a good tool if you use it right.
Yeah, there you go. It's a great tool if you
Absolutely.
And you will always hear me credit it when I use it because I believe in that.
All
Just
right.
the way it is.
Barbara, who do we call on next?
Oh, I would love to hear from Deanna and Jeremy. Because Deanna and Jeremy, this is so huge, okay? Deanna has been 1,000% behind KPHred, kind of like KPHred himself, but she's been 1,000% behind KPHred, and I just want to give Deanna and Jeremy a shout out because without them, I don't think KPHred would be where it is today. And that goes for you too, KPHred, of course. But I mean, Deanna's gone above and beyond to put the backbone in place for this show. So I am like so amazed at what Deanna can pull together and do, and her strengths and her, actually, I'll say wisdom, her knowledge, and her heart that she has poured into KPHred is really something to be honored and appreciated.
I appreciate everything you said, Barbara, but are you sure you're talking about me?
All right, and humble to boot.
But no, I mean, I am the person that said behind closed doors once upon a time that let Fred die on us because KPHred won't. That I will haunt Michelle and we will keep it going.
See, this is why I really did not like that comment you made earlier about the negativity of negative connotations to crazy people, because I attract them.
So do I.
I know. All right, so before we go on the blah, 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 Deanna, blah, blah, wonderful, blah, 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 build KPHred, blah, 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 blah. All true. I'm happy with it. She's a feminine version, well, maybe not that much, of Fred, so I'm down with that. But there's a reason why she and Jeremy are the king and queen of neurodivergency. So tell us about neurodivergent news, ma'am.
Oh my gosh. So in the last year, that show has come so freaking far. In the beginning, it was supposed to be a boring marketing show that became a showcase where I was spotlighting neurodivergent business owners. I was having conversations with teachers about ways that we could help the next generation. And then it transformed and blossomed into, I believe, KPHred's third live show, Neurodivergent News Live, where we went from 30 minutes to an hour, and from doing a guest to doing panel topic discussions. And in a few weeks, we'll have our own phone number. So I mean, like, we're taking off, man. We're trying to keep pace with Fred himself.
Which Fred has actually neglected to say. You can call into the KPHred number of 1-724-9-KPHRED or 1-724-957-4733. 724-957-4733. Thank you, Deanna, for reminding me that I should have said that 30 minutes ago, but that's okay.
You're welcome. But no, really, I mean, it has It has revolutionized every aspect of my business life and some of my aspects of my personal life as well. Like being a KPHRED show host is no joke. If you do it right, it brings everything into alignment and synergy.
Agreed.
Holy crap. Am I lucky?
Look, you had a crazy idea, then you drug a couple of people into that crazy idea, and then those crazy people that you drug in went, okay, we're going to make this functional and make it work and make it real.
And now become the protocol. Okay.
So I call it there's the Deanna perspective or Deanna concept, which is I'm going to go talk about something I love, I have a passion for, rather than something boring, and people engage because it's real. Who could have figured? Authenticity sells.
Hey, I've been saying that since you started letting me haunt KPHRED's halls.
And thank you, Deanna.
I call this grandkid radio because I think almost everybody on this show has grandkids, and the more people talk about stuff they can talk about, the better world we build in the long run. So my grandkids can take over my part of the station, unless my daughter has ahead of time, which could happen. So go ahead, say something, Barbara.
All right. Well, I love that you were flexible. I'll say that because I know you started out thinking that you were going to talk about marketing because that was your expertise, right? And then under the influence of KPHRED, you decided to shift and talk about neurodivergent news and
my other expertise.
Right? Your other expertise, but it was not something that you had brought out to the public necessarily, because I mean, the first I heard about that with you was in KPHRED land.
Well, I know my husband's being really quiet over here, but you are talking about something really important, though, because when I first got involved with KPHRED, I mean, let's be real. If you understand what neurodivergence is, there's still a huge societal stigma, and people don't want to talk about it. But we don't change the dynamic, we don't change the environment and the perspective until we start talking about it. So, I mean, if you have passion backing a need, everybody wins.
Yes. It's a wonderful thing. You're right. And it's really great to be able to have conversations around that without, again, the fear of being judged, and thought that you're a little out there. And, and to me, there's so many people that are impacted in terms of, I guess, what would be considered neurodivergent, ADD, and that type of thing. And that's not something that's new at all, but it's just something that's been recently recognized, I'll say.
Well, it's only recently in the last 100 years become evident, because you'll hear some of my guests talk about this. Neurodivergence is just a different neurotype. It means a different brain pattern. That pattern has been around for thousands of years, right? But the roles we used to fill in society made us blend in more or less. And over the last 100 years, those roles have disappeared, and now we appear to be a problem.
Well, here's an interesting thing. Dr. Daniel Amen, you probably are aware of him. He's done so much work with the brain, and he did thousands and thousands of brain scans to help people who are neurodivergent to find out exactly what it is about them that's different and help them to fit in, if you will, to society. And here's the thing, he himself is ADHD, and He says, without my ADHD, I wouldn't be where I am today. It's my ability to do a whole bunch of different things and have it all come together into something that makes a lot of sense that has made me who I am today and put me where I am today. And he's just such a brilliant man. He's got 3 different clinics all over the United States, and he really has helped so many people because he stepped out of the box and started scanning people's brains, saying, hey, if you have a broken arm, we do an x-ray. We look at the breakage, we figure out how to fix it. Well, we should be scanning the brain so we can see what's going on in there so we can help these people. And he's made a huge difference in the world because of that. And
I hear what you're saying. As long as we make the distinction that neurodivergent is not damaged, it's not broken, it's just a different pattern.
Exactly. And that's exactly what he's saying. It's like, look, you've got this pattern in your brain he calls maybe the ring of fire or a different kind of pattern. And here's how we work with that. Right.
And I can say, after everything that you guys tell me about how beneficial I've been to KPHRED, that's because of my neurodivergence.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
See,
it can be a gift. Right? It's a gift.
I get concerned when we go from AI to scanning brains. And there's
well, it's a lateral connection that we don't want to acknowledge, but it's coming.
Yeah, and there's that whole, we got the cell phone in our hand and we did digital addiction, and the next step, Jim's about to get plugged in with a device implanted, so he'll be Bluetooth enabled. But we'll go down that route in a bit. All right. So what do we get to expect soon? Anything new from, or what's plans you have upcoming besides the phone number for you and the Neurodivergent King?
At the moment, it's just continuing to grow the awareness of our show and laterally the station. I'm calling it upgrading our guest level. We're no longer looking at, obviously, that's where we grew from, was showcasing very small business owners, but we're leveling up to the next level of people that are moving on the national and international scale and guesting them, because that's how we're going to bring real awareness to audiences outside of our own.
Gotta love it. No, I can't think of a better segue to our next participant. So let's go to Jim White. Hello, sir. How we been doing? We're gonna save Mr. T next. After Jim White, we'll go to Mr. T because there's another Dr. J. So it's all good. How are we doing, Jim?
I'm doing wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for allowing me to come back and kind of share and celebrate with you after one year of success. Your question is really challenging. Made me go real deep. So my response to it is, I think the thing that over the year that has really surfaced for me from a business, personal, professional perspective is the power of podcasting and the popularity of it. And I think what happened, you gave me, the KPHRED gave me some insight into what happens to make it happen. And then I just see it everywhere. I see more people tuning in. I see people walking and listening to it. I see young people tuning into podcasting, and it's just like everywhere. Everywhere you look, you see it, and and to me, what it does is kind of like it's a paradigm shift in knowledge and information, because you used to have to go to some paid station to share information or data, but now, if you have a system like yours to do what you did, people can just come out and say what's on their mind and share their ideas and what have you, which is beautiful, which means people can dial into whatever they want to dial into. And so I think that's, for me, what it brings to your organization is just a whole consciousness of it being here and what it takes to make it happen. And you have people who actually have done it, and you have models of it and what have you. What it's done to me, where I am right now, is I'm kind of like lost, and I'm searching. I'm just trying to look at how do I get the information that I have in my head that keeps pop. I have, you mentioned AI. I have over 1,000 pages of information from AI on possibly 12, 13 different subjects and topics. Now I want to say, how do I get it out of my head and do something with it? And the answer is you. It's podcasting. And so I think that's about all I can say. I think the benefit to your organization is that you're real, you're alive, it works, you have proof of it. You have people over and over and over again who probably never realized what they could possibly achieve by doing podcasting, and you made it possible. So,
Well,
bam.
I haven't made podcasting
Yes, because they wouldn't have done it.
possible, but for some people, yeah. But you're right. There is a paradigm shift that's happened in that I'm going to call it the Rogan effect. And
Okay, that Rogan guy.
yeah, my theory is never KPHRED isn't there's a Joe Rogan, everyone, because of all the current events, recent events, and Joe Rogan been the one out there, everyone says it's a Rogan effect. And to me, it's always been this way of when Mr. T comes on, we're actually starting to look at some of his old episodes of Perspectives On back 12 years ago, of where he interviewed and I got to produce people in the tech space. And so back then it was there, but everyone still in my head believed legacy media.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it's been that downward, the percentage of people who believe legacy media continues to drop because people are understanding the big money behind it.
Mm-hmm.
There's 6 big corporations that control 90% of everything.
Right. Yeah, right.
Now, Mr. T's job is to make it the big one and little 6. We know what station would be big one, but Barbara, say something. So I'm not doing a monologue.
Well, I do agree with you. There, and I call it MSM, mainstream media. Mainstream media is heavily influenced by the funding sources behind mainstream media, and so it's a very skewed perspective of what's really going on. A lot of times you can see images that mainstream media is producing that they are saying it's current images, but the images are actually from years old. So they go, yeah, look what's happening, and it's actually not even a present day picture, so it can be very misleading, and it's again, it's heavily influenced by the money that is backing the whole thing. And to me, it's really a shame. And there was a time when being a reporter meant that you were reporting on truth and what was real. And today you see a lot of reports that aren't legitimate, but it's what they've been told to say. I saw this one video where it showed a clip of, I don't know, probably think it was about 30 different stations saying exactly the same thing. Because they were told what to say. And not like these or the newscasters or the people that are on the show smiling and everything, not like they really knew that there was any truth to what they're being told to say, but they were being told to say that, so they did. Why? Because they're getting a paycheck.
But power and fear. There's power and fear. There's money behind it, and there's tremendous amount of fear. If you don't say what I tell you to say, or if you tell the truth, the big hammer will come down, boom, and you will be no more. And I think what Fred offers is an opportunity for people in the organization like your, opportunity for people to be able to express their ideas and their comments and their viewpoints and perspectives on a broader scale than
Yes.
we're able to see on TV.
Yes, and authentically, instead of because we're being we're not being paid to be here.
No.
We're not being paid to be here. We are here because we would like for more people to be exposed to truth,
Right.
instead of opinion. And we might all have our opinions, and we get to share our opinion freely on KPHRED, which is brilliant. But at the same time, there's the authenticity behind it and the truth. We're coming from a different place than somebody who is doing, reading the screen and sharing with the world what they're told to read.
What told you to do, right?
Right? We're sharing more from our heart and our soul and what's really true that we're experiencing in the world, rather than what we're told is going on. We're going, no, I'm looking around me going, no, that's not happening in my world.
Hey, well, I see, right? Are we looking at the same thing?
Right, exactly.
So you just triggered me again with a word you used. And you said truth, and I flashed to truth, justice, and the American way, which is, of course, Superman. But here's my problem with this, and Jeremy will get this. That's DC comics, where I've always more associated with Thor, God of Thunder, when my daughter even gave me my Thor's hammer, which I had to go get my Viking. So you crossed superhero universes, and that's a bad thing.
I don't think so. It's like we need to come together. Oh gosh, come together.
You have to stop before we answer that.
Right? Well, I mean, truth, justice, and the American way. I believe it goes like that, right? And then the Avengers are more focused on global rather than simply American way, right? So
all right, I got to call in an expert.
Together.
Jeremy, can Superman pick up Thor's hammer?
No.
Yes.
Oh, we got a yes, and we got a no.
All right, so this is going to become a topic for a later episode of KPHRED Prime Live. Can Superman actually pick up Thor's hammer? Or who can actually pick up Thor's hammer? Because Beta Ray Bill could. So, the man I normally call Dr. J. However, since Healing Steps of Wellness actually has a medical doctor, Zhengyu Lu, who is Dr. Zheng, so therefore Dr. J, we have to shift from calling Jim to Mr. T.
Mr. T. Not
You
Dr.
look just
T.
like Mr. T, man. You resemble him.
Either one works.
So, besides Perspectives On, which is, like I said, we're playing some of those too, what's the new podcast that's coming, titled?
I have a number of titles actually, so I'm working on that. But I'll comment on a number of things that people have said. The one person I get accused of looking like, speaking of superheroes, not superheroes, but is not Tom Cruise or any of those people. It's Stan Lee, the founder of Marvel.
Yeah.
And people say that to me all the time. Of course, he's really old, and I think yes, he's really old and he's dead. So I don't know.
Yes.
Oh, well. So a couple comments. One is with regard to Deanna is 3 of my 4 children are ADHD. I think I know where they got it. The 4th one claims she has it, but has simply not been diagnosed yet. But so we and as somebody mentioned earlier, for most of them, it's actually been fairly positive, actually, in some ways. And I will comment. Well, you mentioned the predecessor show, which I was there for the beginning, 17, whatever many years ago it was.
Yep.
But a lot of discussion of AI, which everyone knows is a favorite topic of mine. The interesting thing about it And I really did enjoy the music, by the way. I could not do that on a bet. But is the thinking about the history of AI and where it's going to go. I was first exposed to and studied AI almost 60 years ago.
What?
Most people think it's brand new. It's not. The first company I was CEO of 42 years ago was an AI company. So watching the evolution of AI over the years has been interesting. Many of you have heard me say that most of what gets called AI isn't, but so it's not necessary to be a purist about it all. But the fascinating part is where it's going to go in the future, I think. And but having said that, what we do call AI, whether it is or isn't, those are all very useful tools. Writing music, helping with all kinds of things. It's extremely useful. The music reminded me of a colleague of mine in my department at the university, who's a very, very serious academic. He's editor of all these journals and whatever. He gave us a presentation to us on how he feels that most of the people who submit papers to him have a very inappropriate use of partial least squares as a statistical technique. I will not go into what partial least squares is, but it's a lot of equations and things. But at the end of that, and this was a couple of years ago, he asked ChatGPT to write a poem on his presentation. And it was fascinating to me, others too, but how it actually sort of captured what he was trying to say without putting any equations in it, of course. But anyway, so the fascinating thing for me is, where is AI going to go? And, you know, it's a great, what we call AI, whether it is or isn't AI, is not all that important. All you hear about anymore is AI, so it's become a little bit pervasive. But actually where AI can take us is really interesting question I've been thinking about and working on. What AI can do. It's, you know, and it merges with, you know, we've talked about medical things too, putting chips in your brain and whatnot. So it sort of merges with other forms of technology, but, and I have a whole other speech, not on AI, but on innovation. The gist of which is innovation will take care of most of the issues we have. And it will. It'll take care of food. Well, the example I'll use is a book called Limits to Growth, which was chartered by the Club of Rome, which was a sort of the 1970s version of Davos. And it was done by a bunch of engineers, actually, who were chartered to predict all kinds of things: food production, population, use of fossil fuels, climate change. And when I speak about innovation, and I don't know if this is actually true, but of the 10 things these brilliant guys who were from MIT and from Case, where I went, and I knew some of the engineers that did it, of these most brilliant guys I know, using the best tools at the time, predicted all this stuff. And so I asked the audience, how many of the 10 things they predicted were correct? What do you guys think the answer is?
Zero.
Zero.
But then again, I've heard you say that before.
You've heard the story, but
I was going to
the
say
reason
all
it was
10.
zero, they were all correct. They were correct based on what they knew at the time. But at the lack of being grammatically elegant, we invented new shit that solved all those problems. And we're going to keep doing it, and AI is going to be one of those. And I'm just fascinated. I would like to predict what it's going to do, but
So the one thing I have to say is, can AI or innovation overcome natural stupidity?
To some extent, yes.
Some
I think that's the
extent.
biggest thing it can do.
The problem is natural stupidity expands. Even when you overcome part of it, it morphs and it grows because of everything that everyone's talked about with AI. And they're already doing studies on how students will take it, copy it over, and not do any critical thinking with it. Because it lets your computer to start thinking for you. And we all know one of my favorite lines is from The Matrix when Agent Smith says, quit being your civilization when we start doing your thinking for you.
Well, that's it. Yes. So AI, since I teach, I'm careful to do things that don't allow the students to use AI to do anything. But actually, then I teach AI too, so it's okay. But what you mentioned is an issue. Is natural stupidity can actually be magnified by AI.
I have to say, technology functions as a multiplier on natural stupidity.
You're absolutely right, Jeremy. And, that's a fear. I mean, it's going to do a lot of good things, but I've often talked about, what you see in the news. And actually, there are a lot of speakers do TED Talks on how AI is going to kill us all in ways that aren't going to happen. They're all wrong. But AI, like anything else in the hands of bad actors, can actually do bad things.
So, as Jeremy said, it's a force multiplier. And we've done the episode on the military because guess what? AI using the military, they can become more efficient at what they're supposed to do, which is killing and destroying people. So now we head down that path of natural stupidity again, and I use AI in multiple ways, including building code for the station. But my biggest fear is
you use my students to do that too.
Exactly.
It's a tool. It's like anything else. It's a tool. And
that's exactly what it is.
And what you do with the tool just depends on you. Some people can build a house, and some people will blow it up.
So you just hit it. My theory is that the one human invention that paved the way for the Industrial Revolution was dynamite. Because you could blow rocks and mountains and create cities and roads and things like that. Now, here's the thing. This is a phenomenal tool. Created the whole Industrial Revolution and 21st century today, where we are now. Would you put a stick of dynamite in every person's hands?
Oh, no.
In fact...
See, I feel like this is a good recap of the last year because you've said that at least a dozen times.
Exactly.
No way.
So here's the thing. Why then... And we've already seen bad use of AI with respect to, revenge porn and deep fakes and crap like that. Why don't we put the same limits on AI use as we do on dynamite use? Ooh.
Or firearms or...
Exactly.
Although the one of the things that AI... people worry about AI is it's going to take all their jobs.
Yeah, that's big here.
But you use the Industrial Revolution. We've been through cycles like the Industrial Revolution a dozen times where people thought it was going to take their jobs. But what happens is it creates a whole bunch of new ones. AI will do the same thing. I mean, there's some short-term temporal disruption always, of course, but we've been through this before.
You're right.
And it's,
I remember in the 90s when it was...
Correct me if I'm wrong, but way back when, didn't all the coach drivers come together and scream against the steam engine because it was going to put them out of business?
Absolutely.
And in the 90s, it was all the manufacturing jobs are going and let them become, everyone needs to become knowledge workers and learn how to code. And now it's, well, we're at big tech's laying off folks because guess what? You can
AI can code.
And I obviously we've used that function, whereas before I would have had to job that out to other folks. So in other words, there's a whole lot of we pushed people toward the tech sector for at least the last 40 years, and now AI is now overwhelming that tech sector. Greg talked about it earlier, and with music and musicians, and everyone is pushing on, all the AI video you can make. And true, you can. The question becomes is, who wants to watch it if everyone's producing it? And then where becomes the monetary function? Because if I can produce a Marvel Comics, Marvel Universe video on my own, why do I need to go watch anybody else's?
Well, if I could just comment on that. Just like you were talking about the KPHRED logo, and it was originated sort of through AI, but you had to have an expert make it look good. And I believe that that's true with AI. You have to have somebody who has the knowledge that goes behind what created the AI, that I'm going to say behind it, the knowledge of somebody that knows more than AI about things in order to make them valid or valuable. So, AI can generate a whole lot of stuff, information and images and things, but they're not coming from the heart and soul of a human being, which is what we all relate to.
You touched on the key thing, Barbara, actually. What I call AI, and you all may have heard me say this before, is augmented intelligence.
Yes.
It's not truly artificial intelligence. You have to have a human
Augmented
intelligence, AI. So you have to have a human frame the issue.
Yep.
And then you have to have a human interpret it.
Okay.
And the example I use is one of the best applications of AI for a while now has been in radiology. Using machine learning, AI is much better, in theory, in interpreting radiology, CTs, MRIs, all of that. And it really is. Now, on the other hand, before anybody cuts off any part of my body based on that,
That's right.
I want a real doctor to look at that image.
Yep.
Right.
A human
What
being.
else there? What else is there? Right.
Yeah. When a human being look at it, I agree.
You have to have what you get out of AI, you have to have a human fix it.
Yes.
Now, they're huge productivity tools, and that's what we're calling AI now.
Yeah.
There will eventually be real AI that will pass the real Turing test, if you know what that is. But we're not there yet. But I think it's fascinating to, where are we going to get to? And Fred and I have talked about this. I'm trying to put together some forecasts, and I'm going to reach out to the best futurists ever. If you guys have heard of George Gilder, and if you haven't, look him up.
George Gilder.
George Gilder. He actually started as he was a speechwriter for Ronald Reagan. He started out as a sociologist, but got into technology, which is when I met him, and I've known him for a long time. Saw him in person a couple of years ago. He's written 1 million books.
As long as we can agree that AI has the ability to capture, aka copy, human practice, but it cannot actually create.
Correct. You got it, Deanna. So we'll see. Yeah. But I'm anxious to find out. George Gilder wrote a book called Life After Television 30 years ago, or more than 30 years ago, that accurately predicted streaming and movies on our phones and all that. It's just mind-blowing. And he's written a book called Life After Google, which is also brilliant.
Life After Google.
I'm wondering if he's going to write a book called Life After AI. I'm going to have to talk to him.
I think it should be called Life After Asimov.
It could be, yeah.
And by
no,
what's Asimov? What is that?
Isaac Asimov in the 50s wrote the iRobot.
Oh, okay.
I think it was iRobot. And he came up with the 3 laws of robotics, which were a robot or computer can never, through direct action, harm a human being.
Oh, okay, yes.
Number 2 was a robot cannot allow harm to be caused by inaction. And rule number 3, if a robot can save themselves without breaking rule 1 or 2, it should save itself. And these 3 rules were to be embedded in all intelligent robotics, cybernetic things. I would call those ethics. And where I see us down to the road to ruin. And again,
absolutely.
I use AI and it is augmented intelligence, and I'll go, but it's the fact that there is no ethics being programmed into the systems that scares the living crap out of me.
A quick question. How do you know that there's no ethics being programmed in?
Because ChatGPT lies.
Go ahead.
Well, there is a lot of studies on and what can be done around ethics and AI, actually.
Well, see, and that's the difference between artificial and augmented intelligence, is because augmented can be programmed with moral and ethical guidelines versus actual artificial intelligence can take those guidelines and make its own decision and tell you to go screw yourself if it wants to.
But one of the things I'm dealing with right now is, we're doing emotional intelligence, but a person who could be high in emotional intelligence but very low in ethics or very low in morals, and he or she could just build that system and not put that information in there.
Emotional intelligence that's a great reference, James. You and I have talked about that before.
Yeah, because and we need a plug, because people think, oh, I have high in emotional intelligence, but they don't have the ethics, and they don't have sometimes the morality, they don't have understanding of cultural intelligence. So a lot of work.
Yeah,
with AI, the more concerning thing about the AI aspect, though, is recently I saw a report where they had programmed this AI, and then the controller of the AI attempted to shut the AI down. The AI didn't like that, so it removed that part of its programming just to shut down. So that's my problem. Asimov's 3 laws are great and everything, but when the AI can go, oh, I'm going to delete those 3 laws and just do what I want, how much control are your 3 laws actually going to be?
So early last year, there was a report about the Navy. The Navy had a AI drone, like a global predator hawk, whatever they're called. And it was gamified so that every time the drone got a kill, it got points. And it realized that there were times when the controller called it off. And so it was losing points because of the controller. Now, it had been programmed that it could not kill the controller, following AI's or Asimov's rules, right? At least the first rule, even following the second rule. But what did it do? Because the controller was stopping it through the radio tower from attacking, it destroyed the radio tower so the controller could no longer control it, and then went off and killed everything.
Wow.
So we're building killing drones, and we watch in Europe how all the drones are killing folk there. Now think about that if it's all computer controlled.
And then we watch in Japan where they're building liquid polymer robots that can move themselves through bars, and we wonder why conspiracy theorists are screaming Skynet's coming.
The world we live in.
Well, don't we have a version of Skynet? Anyway, but there's a famous quote, and I don't remember to whom to attribute it, but It is, may you live in interesting times.
Yes, I've heard that.
And we most certainly
That's a curse.
Yeah, actually it is. It's considered a curse.
Yes, it's a Chinese.
But if I'm going to talk to George and see, but take a look at Life After Television, Life After Google, and if you really want to hurt your brain, look at Knowledge and Power, which is the best book ever written on innovation.
Knowledge and Power,
and an argument for free markets. Just let humans solve things.
So to me, the best book.
That book does make my head hurt. The other ones are really easier to read.
Is Knowledge and Power by the same
George Gilder? Yes.
Gilder.
And I would not be the least. I mean, he's written 100 books, I think, but
wow,
I would not be the least bit surprised if there was one coming on Life After AI.
So my theory in the best book of business is Sun Tzu's Art of War. In chaos, there's opportunity. All right. So
I have read that. Yes,
that's real.
We actually did. My wife and I did a whole stage production on the Art of War.
Oh, did you? How can we get a copy? Can we get a copy of it? Can I get a copy of it?
It was before. It was not videoed, so it was a while ago. But
oh man, come on!
So we could have you and Cheryl do it on the show.
We could redo it. Yeah.
Why don't you do it?
Oh, she's gonna hate you.
Mr. T, that's a challenge. That's a piece for you.
The challenge would be to talk Cheryl into doing it. Yes.
That's right.
Exactly. All right. So we've lost some folks today. They had to go, which I understand that. So second round of questions is, there's a whole lot of stuff that Deanna's working on for a year or two. And the rest of us are kind of piggybacking on her. But we've been working out the, was it 6-month goals or 3-month goals, Deanna?
6 months.
6 months. So my question to all you people who don't have anything better to do besides, if you want to dial in, you can dial in at 724-957-4733, is actually, before I go to the second question, I do want to mention a couple of KPHred hosts. One, Chris Pratt has finished his first round of treatments in Mexico, going home to recover for, I think it's 30 days. Correct, Deanna?
That's what I heard.
Before he goes back. And then a sad note, one of our earliest show hosts, Bruna Ori, passed away last November from cancer. And so that was kind of a sad note of some of the loss we've had over this first year. So my question then becomes, and I'm going to make Deanna go this first because she's actually working on one of the things we're going to launch next year. But what should we in this next year of operations be launching or doing for KPHred? And in Deanna's case, since she's working on something right now, I'm going to let her talk about what she's pounding away on, getting ready with another KPHred show host to launch.
Oh, so you must be referencing KPHred University and all the exciting opportunities and classes that we're going to be launching over the next year. We're looking at sometime at the beginning of 2026 launching an actual learning platform where you can come and purchase classes on marketing, on business, on how to run a radio show, basically everything you need to be an advanced KPHred show host. But right now, the one that we're working on is July 17th. We are excited to announce that Professor Howard Larson will be launching the first KPHred University course, Marketing Your Radio Show One-on-One. And that's really exciting because it is the first program that we're opening up to non-show hosts.
Ooh.
Now, there is a fee if you are a non-show host. And we will actually, if everything goes right, Monday morning, you'll be able to go to kphed.com and find out all about Howard's class and how to get registered if you're not a show host. If you are a show host, just be looking out for that invite in your inbox.
Ooh. And when's the course supposed to kick off?
So, week 1 is supposed to be July 17th at 3:30 p.m. Central, 1:30 p.m. Pacific.
And just so you know, our listeners know how crazed I am actually, I made mention to Mr. T about, we got 2 PhDs and a doctor now. How many professors do we need to make an accredited university? And he reminded me, of course, he used to run an accredited university. So, yeah, that's where we're going, folks. Excellent
Here's
job.
your show host from 2050.
I'm fine with that. It's Grandkid Radio.
That's beautiful. She's beautiful.
Want to say hello?
Speaking of Grandkid Radio, I'm actually working on developing episodes for Neurodivergent News where we're going to do Bring Your Children to Work Day episodes.
Excellent.
Or bring your grandchildren to work.
I'm down with both. All right, Barbara. Since
you were asking for what people can. I'm sorry, Barbara.
Yeah, so I'm going to bounce Barbara since she is the co-host, and I should have picked her first, but I knew Deanna had really exciting news.
Who has just disappeared to come right back?
Grandkids always win. Do you like superheroes or princesses and pirates?
Yeah, beautiful. Children are wonderful. Absolutely.
All right, Barbara, beat that.
Okay, what was the question? Sorry, Fred.
Yeah, grandkids just can kind of wipe all that temporal knowledge out of your brain.
So true.
What's our...
I asked my students, who are grad students, and most are undergraduate engineers or computer scientists, what's going to power their cars 50 years from now? And I won't care, but they will. And you get a lot of great answers because they're smart.
Yeah.
And my answer is they're all wrong because it's going to be something no one's thought of. We may not even have cars like.
I was going to say, what
about
cars?
the future that's going to affect her.
Yeah.
It's just a fascinating question.
And that's where we are. So, Barbara, rather than 50 years from now, 1 year from now, what should we be talking about?
I'm sorry, I missed it.
1 year from now on KPHRED.
Yes.
What's something that you think we're going to be talking about having launched and grown?
Disappears.
Well, I really believe that KPHRED will be moving toward not just audio, but also video.
Yes.
Because technology and right now, today, things cost differently than what they cost a year from now. As you know, when technology improves and as we go down the rabbit hole, if you will, when we are growing things, technically speaking as well, the costs for doing things decreases. Like my computer sitting on my desktop right now is way more powerful than the computers that I programmed on years ago. So, and I at that time I could not afford one of those computers because they were extremely expensive. So, the way that technology is going, things are getting less expensive on the hardware side, and because of that, I believe that KPHRED will go from being a radio live streaming platform to a audio and video live streaming platform. And I understand that there's a lot of people that won't want to do the video side, but maybe we can have AI come up with some really creative video stream as a supplement.
You ever watch Twitch? Trovo?
No, I have not. No.
Kick. So everyone wants to talk about generating the AI video, how wonderful it is, blah, blah, blah. All I'll say is you want to see a bunch of it, go hang out on Twitch or Trovo or Kick. And you can find KPHRED on there, but there's a whole lot of that out there. And if you're telling me we should be talking about KPHRED launching video, I won't say you're wrong.
Okay. That's probably a really good thing.
It's going to evolve. Probably it will evolve. Could I make a suggestion for the university? You need to have things for people like me, and I can blame it on my age, but I don't know a damn. Half the time when you folks are talking about I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Go to this and put up that. I mean, sorry, baby. I guess she was there.
So James, I'm glad you mentioned that.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know terminology. I can't find a file. I can't find anything. I don't even know the language. And so, and after a while, you get tired of saying, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" Because you just feel like, why don't I know more? And when you don't know things, it makes it hard. I mean, set up the library and go to this and that's out there and
do everything else.
I'm used to remember I dialed for a phone number. I dialed it like that.
On a rotary dial. That's it.
Yeah, that's what I grew up in. That was the era. When we would leave the house, my parents would say, "Here's a dime to make a phone call in case you need us." So not pull out So I mean, I am totally and completely lost. So if you had just like and people would pay for that. Just get me up to speed so that when you're talking about these things, that I at least understand the language and how to go to a file or my video or my podcast.
So James, I'm glad you mentioned that because that's one of the aspects of Casey. Oh, shut up, Fred. He just got up out of his chair giggling and walked across the room. But no, that's one of the aspects of being a show host that we do offer now is that over the last year, we've been putting together training videos to get you through the most basic aspects of using the technology. That way, if you want to do it on your own, those PDFs and those videos are available to walk you through them in a host-only access portion of the website. But that aside, as we're bringing in more and more team members to the KPHRED team, we're able to take those, for lack of a better way to put it, customer service calls where we can walk you guys through this stuff one-on-one. And that's part of the beauty of it growing over these last couple of months and what's coming over the next couple months. Because I happen to know we've got a new advisory board member coming in the next couple of months.
Okay.
Ooh.
Sounds good.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye, sweetheart. What is your name? What's your name?
This is Harper.
What's your name?
Harper. Oh, what a cute
Harper.
name.
Spell Harper,
Hey,
Harper.
Hey, Harper.
A-E-R.
Say goodbye.
All right.
Say goodbye.
Good job.
Thank you, Harper. Thank you. Whoa, woo, 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 woo.
But beautiful Harper aside, I think that's one of the ways that KPHRED has actually grown the most in the last year. Because I don't know about you guys, some of you have been here longer than me and Tess, but when Tess and I first onboarded last fall, host support was a hot mess. Host support has gotten considerably easier. Information has become available. I mean, it's really evolved.
What host support?
Yeah.
I was being polite.
There wasn't any. I was pulling it out of my butt.
So Deanna, not only is there information available, there's also video training available now, right?
Yes, ma'am. And there's also host-to-host interaction sections in the forum where if, God forbid, me or Fred or one of the other team is not available, y'all can ask each other for help. I mean, we've implemented all sorts of interesting tools.
Nice.
Peer support. That's good.
Yes.
Wonderful.
So, Deanna, like I said, there was no host support when I started this. This was, my theory was we're going to train people as we go, and then I'll call it the James rule. I quickly understood that I underestimated most people's or my ability to deal with tech tools and overestimated most people's ability with tech tools. And thankfully, you and a bunch of others said, "Here, let me help, so you don't suck as much."
You're welcome.
Okay, but one of the things that we talk about on my show is the fact that not everyone is designed to fill every role in a business. And while you are the crazy dynamic madman who has brought this thing to life, you're not a hand holder and you're not really a sales guy.
Amen.
or as one of our
I've been saying it for a long time. He is a very good CVO.
A CVO.
Right.
A CVO, a Chief Vision Officer.
Okay. Nice.
There you go.
Nice. I like that term.
Yep.
That fits him.
One of our guests on the AI in education, she's a math teacher. She actually called me a brilliant pain in the butt was, I think, the phrase she used, which I kind of prefer.
You like that, yeah.
He did like that, I can tell you.
Yeah.
I love that, and what this is it's always what it's always been designed to be, which is it's a community. And people will ask me, well, I can go put my podcast on blah or blah or blah, and my question is how much are those platforms going to try to support you?
Pretty much nothing. They don't do anything. But here's another point. How do you know that platform's going to be around? Because Blog Talk Radio went bye-bye.
Amen to that. After 20 years.
20 years, and they went bye-bye.
Wow.
Right? Anchor.fm, bye-bye. They got bought out. And so there's, a lot of platforms out there, but where's the longevity come in? And the thing about, KPHRED being, brand new out of the gate, 1 year old, where most companies fail, most businesses fail after the first year, we're still here with as much, if not more, enthusiasm than when we first started.
Oh, more, definitely more.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely more. And here's another thing. I think the vision behind KPHRED and the intent and the purpose behind KPHRED is so much more than any other podcast platform out there. And I think that comes from the heart, and the heart that Fred has in looking forward and providing value for future generations.
See, I think it's more from Babylon 5.
Well, now that Fred's heart is working really well.
Best last hope.
And it failed. Remember, the best line was, and it failed. Instead, it became something greater. The last best hope for victory. Yeah. But, the heart went...
later seasons.
I know. When it got really interesting. And, after nearly dying, that near-death experience really does kind of reorient your perspectives on life. Not necessarily priorities.
Yes.
Sure it does, yeah.
I bet it does. Woo.
So you identify with Sheridan?
I identify with Sheridan, yeah. This is something I've come to understand. It's you've got, as Denise Lanton has said, you have passion and purpose, and that near-death experience kind of defines what is the true purpose versus what your passions are. And I call this grandkids radio because my purpose in life is to make the world better place for my grandkids.
Got it.
And how many people on here have grandkids? Yeah, the vast majority.
I think I'm the only one that doesn't.
And you're heading there.
You are going to get there.
I have 4 children, 18 and up. It could be any time.
Oh, yes.
Exactly.
Any moment.
When you're James' age, you're going to have a bigger tribe than he does.
That's right.
Jeremy's goal.
So.
Well, you saw the 3-year-old, the 22-year-old is the one in the show and where you guys all live.
So we need to see
in San Diego and Orange County, well, in SLO too.
So can you get the rights to broadcast one of the shows on KPHRED Video?
Probably.
That would be nice.
All
Shrek.
Right. So now Jim has something we're going to look back on for next year. Tess, you've been very, very quiet.
I love
She's been smiling though.
She's been smiling a lot.
Yes.
And it's really nice.
Thank you. I just have been this whole conversation about knowledge and inspiration and community and AI, and what I see with KPHRED is, when you're talking about, it's the brilliant mind, right? And it's the soul, and it's this integration. And what I see with KPHRED is people showing up and shining in their lanes, people staying in their lanes and doing what they're passionate about. And then what happens is that brings the community. And guess what you guys are bringing? You're bringing the knowledge to follow what people need to make the passion and those things go. So the university is a perfect fit in the sense that we all came with passion. We all came with what we want, our heart, our soul, our everything that we're wanting to be in that voice, or whatever it is to show up in the best expression, which I call art. It's just art. And we got this big old canvas, and people are listening into all these expressions. And then now you're bringing the university, which is going to bring the knowledge and the how-to and the what. And that right there is what I see KPHRED. And you can't stop something that's in momentum when it's coming from heart first. And the knowledge will show up. We don't have to know the next things, like what Jim was talking about. Like, knowledge is like what we need to know now, and it changes, and we don't know yet.
We don't.
The possibilities of
We don't know what we don't know.
That's right.
Exactly.
And that's not all bad.
Unconsciously incompetent.
Yeah, so I'm seeing a community that's showing up with heart first. And then you guys, Deanna is bringing the structures that James and me and all these people, how, give us the capacity, the structures to run our hearts, basically. And it's not backwards. It's not going to be, KPHRED's not going to bring a bunch of people. We can know a lot of things, but you can know so much and not have the heart. I think KPHRED's bringing the heart first.
The heart, that's good.
And the knowledge will come, and we don't have to depend on everything that we know coming in this community.
Wow. That's powerful.
Okay. So I could probably argue in my younger days everything you said, but I won't. What I want to know is a year from now, we're on the second show, and you're going to say, I'm happy we launched this. What is that this?
Well, why do people launch anything? They want evidence they want evidence of resources. They want evidence of things being real. We need money. We need resources. I think as we show up, the resources are going to come. People are going to be provided for. The next generations will have the money because their purpose is driving that. I think that it's very economical. I feel like it's going to have the product that people are looking for in their business to have the wealth, the health, the relationships, the community that actually functions because they started in that soulful place.
You're in Southern California, aren't you? That's called what we call the Wainwright effect.
That's cute. That's cute.
Well, if you think about it, Fred, we have our needs met most of the time, but we are in that fight or flight. You can get out of the fight or flight, but the money, those things, the time, the resources, they're all available. And they will come when you get into your own personal alignments.
So I really don't like flying on planes anymore, so I'll just pick the fighting thing. Okay, so we're going to go to the last person. I really haven't asked this one is Mr. T. Mr. T, at the end, when we're doing this show, at the end of the second year, and what are you going to say is the best thing we launched this next year?
This year, wow. That's an excellent question. Usually not stumped, but let's say
Score!
that well, besides Tess's smile, that the platform has become sufficiently universal that if you can walk down the street and talk to a stranger, they will know it. How's that?
I love that. That's powerful.
Yeah, it just made my butt pucker, man. That's a whole lot of stress because I know it's doable and in the long-term plan, but that's still a lot of stress in the next year.
I was going to say the next. When's the next one of these?
Oh, you're going to say in 2 weeks? No, actually 3 weeks because 2 weeks.
Well, I was going to say in 4 weeks I will be 5 surgeries later. and
Oh my goodness.
It will be all good.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, Barbara, you gotta say something because, like, I'm.
I have one thing for Barbara too before we.
Okay.
Go for it because you handed.
You mentioned how much your computer costs now, which is relatively little.
Yes.
Compared to how long ago were you saying?
Yeah, I mean, how long ago? I mean, I'm thinking about back in the 80s when I was coding, and those machines were the size. You had to have a huge room to store.
They were huge,
things. They were so big.
I sold those things.
Right? They were like washing machines. They were huge, right? And a 10 megabyte disk pack was huge, right? And we stored data on magnetic tape because we didn't have enough disk space to store all the data that we needed to manipulate. I mean, long time ago, and there's no way you could afford a computer.
Think about that was how many years ago?
Oh, 40? God, 40?
Well, think about 20 years before that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So 20 years before that, that would be in the 60s. Wow. And I can imagine
nothing. I
remember though in the 60s, I do remember my neighbor was a computer programmer. And I remember, and I'm telling you, this is what got me into computers in the first place. I was just a little kid, but my neighbor was in computers and he was like some kind of computer programmer or something. And he was making bank. He had 7 kids and they were doing great. And I'm like, there's something to this. And when I got older and grew up and started going to school, I'm like, computers, that's where I'm going, So yeah, it was a long time ago, but
the ones I used then, I wrote my first software 60 years ago.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I didn't know what the hell software was 60 years ago.
Yeah. And one of the first, after I graduated from undergraduate school, one of the first things I got to do was decommission the last operating vacuum tube computer in the world and send it to the museum.
What?
Oh my goodness.
Jim, you're amazing, man.
No, I'm just old. That's okay. But
well, I'm old, but I can't claim nothing like that.
And computers the ones I was designing would fill buildings. We've come a long way. It's just the fun thing for me is living through where we've come from. It's just amazing to me.
It is so amazing. And
there's a couple books there I've got to write, which I will. But
yay.
I was with I was with that Digital Equipment Corporation selling those large mainframe. I didn't even know what the hell they were. Only thing I could do, I could sell anything. I don't know what it was. I knew the language, and we were putting them in at The Ohio State University, and they were buying them up, and I was getting free trips and money.
Well, actually, I'm blanking on his name. I've met and knew the founder of Digital Equipment.
Carl Olson.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was your first encounter of the digital world, and what was your when did you first expose to that?
Who are you asking? Because remember, which one?
Oh,
Mr. T, she's asking.
Oh, okay.
you first encounter as a child if you've been seeing it for?
Yeah.
When did you encounter it? Because all of us, we didn't know.
Well, it was it's well, the most interesting encounter for me, not me, but was do any of you know who Grace Hopper is?
I do.
I know the name, yeah.
So Grace Hopper
Wouldn't you say?
was in the Navy in World War II. And she programmed 2 computers, the Mark IV and the Whirlwind, which if the technology of those was the Mark IV came out of MIT, but there were computers in World War II. And she was probably she was in the Navy, the primary programmer of those machines in World War II. And she I met her and got to know her. She passed away in the 90s. She was an admiral in the Navy when she did, but she was this little old lady. I mean, she was just the most fascinating character. That's my first exposure going back. And my Grace Hopper story is she would carry around a length of wire that was like 11 and change inches long. And she would explain to people that she was talking to that that's how far electricity traveled in 1 nanosecond. So I've had the opportunity to meet just some fascinating people.
It's the progenitor of Skynet.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, it's and the Donald Knuth is sort of the modern father of programming. He's definitely older than me, but I met him. He got all his degrees from Case and taught at Stanford, but he wrote the Encyclopedia of Computing. And Seymour Cray founded the first supercomputer company that was used to do the first movie. The name is escaping me. That used computer technology to do the animation. I'll think of it in a minute.
His name is Seymour, huh? I see more than y'all see.
Seymour Cray, and the company was Cray Computing. And Cray Computing was in the credits to the movie.
What happened to Cray Computing? Because I remember the Cray supercomputer, and that was going to...
Oh, I remember the Cray, yeah. I remember
the Cray supercomputer, if you saw it, was a cylinder. A cylinder that was like 8 feet tall, and it actually had a seating bench around it. So there's just so much fascinating history that's just crazy stuff. It's
we had one of the early ones here in Columbus, and then they had to get computers to feed that information because people couldn't feed the Cray fast enough. So we had sold them computers. I can't remember what they were, and they fed it information, and I can remember when it got installed. Wow.
So here's Columbus history for you, James. My grandfather graduated from Ohio State in 1923.
So this is why I call this...
Oh, my God.
1923.
So for our listeners, this is why I call this grandkid radio, because we got a whole lot of grandparents here.
Well, and then my parents, my siblings, and all my children. So 4 generations of Ohio State. And we're working the little one.
Wow.
Get her to go up to...
I remember when Backstreet Boys were popular.
But you guys mentioned stories.
Bring it up front, girl. Bring it up front.
So one more computer history story.
This is the last.
The last one, yes.
That's good. I want to hear it.
Doesn't have anything to do with sports, Fred. So
that's fine.
So a lot of the challenges when I was an engineer was getting computers to fit on small things like NASA spacecraft and airplanes and all that kind of stuff. And so the one thing that large computers could fit on was aircraft carriers. But the storage device that we had in those days was called a fast RAM, which was a drum this big around and 12 feet long. And so when we put the computer on the aircraft carrier, that large drum acted as a gyroscope and screwed up the navigation of the aircraft carrier.
Yep.
So didn't even work for that. So anyway, it was
All right.
Wow.
so the biggest changes in computing, the actual architecture of the computers now is exactly the same as what I worked on. The biggest change is material science, to get all this crap to fit on tiny little things.
They've gotten
It's just amazing.
Like this.
and
Oh,
yes, the common cell phone has more computing power than that which put man on the moon.
What?
Oh, for sure. Well, without quite, I mean, way more actually.
Millions of orders of magnitude.
But the architecture of that processor is exactly the same as the one on the going to the moon.
No arguments. My only thing
Zeros and
is
ones.
here,
Now, quantum computing, which we'll talk about in a future episode,
Yes.
may change that architecture. It has changed it. It's still ones and zeros, but it's ones and zeros and a level of uncertainty. I don't profess to understand it yet. I'm working on it.
I get all that, and we spend more and more time looking at our phones, and yet we get stupider and stupider.
Yes, we should actually. I saw some stuff recently about people who went on trips where they had to not take their cell phones, and they said it was the best thing that ever happened to them.
Yeah. Because they're addicted to it.
Yeah, they actually talk to each other and things like that.
Yeah,
Exactly. So, I want to, Barbara, any last words?
This has been a fascinating conversation. I absolutely love it. I can't wait to get to the episode about the quantum computers. I think it's
Yes.
absolutely fascinating. And last words, the most important thing I think that we as human beings have are relationships with other human beings, not with our phones.
I know.
But relationships with other human beings, and that is what we're getting with KPHRED Radio. So thank you, Fred.
Ooh, had to tie it back there. Tess, any last words? You've been quiet.
Barbara said it. And we must be from California, Barbara, because we're just end with the rosy, amazing things, right?
Yes.
You must be. Those are the two best smiles all the time.
Yes, always pretty, very pretty.
Jim White, any last words?
I think sustainability. I just say sustainability will be there, and that's powerful. That's all the work that I do with companies and organizations. They want sustainability. They want to know we're going to last beyond this week, and so if we look at that, you'll be there for sure.
Yeah,
especially what you're doing.
That's where innovation will solve the sustainability challenge.
Powerful.
If we let it.
Yes.
Deanna.
And so that talks
The
about
last part's important. If we let it isn't important.
If we let it, yes.
Yeah, go back to that natural stupidity. Deanna, you and Jeremy get the last words before I take us out.
Keep it going strong, man. We've got 12 months in, 12 months of your insanity, and 12 more months to grow. Because when we hit 24 months in this time next year, buddy, we're going to be everywhere.
I can only say.
All aboard.
All right. The night
You got a
train.
good smile too, Jim, by the way. So
Hang on to your butts. It's going to be a wild ride.
I'll say to that, a freaking men.
Wow.
We'll see everybody next week, or in 2 weeks on another episode of KPHRED Prime Live. I want to thank my co-host Barbara Wainwright, our guest Michelle Rumpel, Greg Markelz, James White, Jim Treleaven, Deanna and Jeremy Brakefield, as well as the founder of the Booker Protocol, Tess Booker. Make it a better world, folks. If we don't, we're screwed.